Oh, how you doing, sir? So glad to have. I'm so this. Listen, 17-year-old me is having a great time right now at this moment,
Amen,
right
brother.
here with you. I appreciate you hopping on. I know it's not always easy scheduling, so I super appreciate you taking the time to do so. Before we dive on in, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Soup. Every day remembering Christ. I still remember that lyric.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not ABC, I'm DE. That's how I try to be. So please don't play me coast because I'm not high post. Christian U. Jack, I don't mind being that. In fact, I'm kind of happy, man. Do you know what song that's from? Do you know what song that's
No,
from?
but I remember the lyric.
That you wrote that.
I
You
know, right?
wrote that. You wrote that. All right. Well, anyway, that was my bad intro.
What
I'm so
song is
glad to have
that
you.
from?
That is I think it's from the second album, Listen Up, maybe.
Oh,
I think it's from that album.
Suplex the Mind,
It's
I think.
Suplex the Mind. So I got Save Man in the Jungle first from my
Yeah,
friend in high school, and then I went backwards, and then of course I kept going forward. So
yeah.
your music plays a huge role in my new life in Christ when I gave my life to Christ in 15. And I have so many nerd questions. I have so many like musical questions. I have so many legacy questions. But before I do that, I have one question, and that is your setup behind you, because that right there is what I ascribe to. How
Oh,
much vinyl do you have behind you right there? What are we
how
talking here?
much
How many
what?
records? How much vinyl you got back there?
Man, this is actually all I have left.
Really?
I had a warehouse full of vinyl, man, but I got
I
around.
bet you
These are all
did.
my classics right here. I'll
Okay.
never get rid of this stuff.
Okay. All right.
I have
Let's do record roulette. Let's do
so you
record
see you
roulette.
see
Pull
this
something.
cabinet right here, this little section. I got 8 of those full. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay, can you do me a favor? Just pull something, and I want to see what that is. Pull something random from that wall,
Oh, this
and I
will be
want you
real
to.
random. You ready for this?
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Record roulette. Ah, what? What? No, no,
Here's
no, no, no,
here's
no.
another
No.
right next to that. Right next to that.
What? 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 What?
And then let me see,
Come on.
and then we go all the way to something like this.
There it is. There it is. I have so many questions. I have so many questions.
But
First of
this
all,
is my favorite though. Favorite group, man. I got every album they have in there. The Jazz Crusaders.
can okay, Jazz Crusader. Is
And
that
of
a
course,
jazz album? Is that a breakbeat? What is that?
no, Jazz Crusaders, man.
I'm sorry, man. You gotta put me. Of course, of course. Okay, well then we gotta settle this debate. Are you off the wall, Michael Jackson, or are you Thriller, Michael Jackson? Which one
Off
are you?
the
Because that
wall.
is a
I
okay.
mean, Thriller is sonically
Perfect,
amazing. It's perfect.
perfect.
It's perfect. But Off the Wall is it's a different vibe, but they're both just super amazing. But if I was gonna say which one is my best, it would be Off the Wall.
Okay, so Off the Wall hit me. I had to go again, like your music. I had to go backwards to listen to Off the Wall. Obviously I'm an '80s kid, so Michael Jackson was anything and everything as my
Right.
childhood. Everybody had the Thriller album. I don't care who you
Of
were,
course,
whatever
yeah.
you were. It was like you were born, you were handed that album. Everybody on the planet had it. Anyway, I digress. First of all, hold on, we got back up. How do you have the Freedom of Soul and the T-Bone albums on vinyl? Did you get those later, or are these original from like way back?
I actually just got the T-Bone one.
Okay, yeah.
Me and him swapped the records
Okay.
when I dropped this one,
Okay.
Phase 3 on vinyl.
Ah! You killing me here. You killing me, 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 you killing me.
T-Bone hit
How
me
good did
up.
it
I
feel?
mean, we stay in touch, and he hit me up and was like, "Yo, man, I need that Phase 3 album. I need that Phase 3 album. Let's swap." So we hadn't seen each other in like years. So we
Okay.
hooked up. He gave me that, and I gave him the Phase 3.
How good did it feel to finally have Phase 3 on vinyl? Because I don't think it was
Man,
back in the day, right?
it actually got chopped off right when Phase 3 was coming out. That's when vinyl was like,
Right.
because the
Right.
Freedom of Soul was the last vinyl that BAI released. That was it.
Mm. Were you a little mad? Were you a little heated?
And that was because Epic picked their whole label up,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
and they put that out. But yeah,
Okay.
I have that
So
because I'm all on it. So
of course you are.
yeah,
Listen, so for my progression goes, I think my first one was I heard Dynamic Twins on the radio,
Mhm.
I was barely saved. They played, it's their first album. It's the one that,
No Room to
Ain't No
Breathe.
Doubt. Oh man, what is the song they played was, The Real Thing. That's what
The
they
Real
played.
Thing, yeah, that was their single.
"Hey, come on!" They had the little sample, and, I was like, "Wait a minute," and then this station used to play entire albums on Friday night, so I just taped the whole
Really?
album 'cause I was poor yeah, I was a broke kid, man.
Wow, wow.
Um,
That's kinda
it was
dope.
Way
They
FM.
could just play the whole album, huh?
They play the whole album. I'm like, record."
That's pretty dope and
And that
weird.
held me out. Well, it was 1990. There's
Right,
no
right,
rules. That held me over all summer. I think when I came back, then my progression went, PID, and it was Born with the Gift. That was my
right,
next one, which I loved that album too. And then I wanna say this, I'm probably a junior in high school now, and then either I won Freedom of Soul on the radio, or I had it, or I bought it. I can't remember. Had that album, Caught in Land of Time, loved it. But man, I'll tell you what. First of all, I was a huge Public Enemy fan,
right,
huge fan of the Bomb Squad production. And I don't remember. Most of my music came because I'd wait for my friend to buy it because I just had no money.
right.
And then sorry, man, I bootlegged it probably off him.
So,
Or I borrowed it. Anyway,
we all bootleg back then.
but I remember sitting down to listen to Phase 3. First of all, the cover, I love the cover. Tell me a little bit about the science behind the cover. Did you just go to a random overpass and that's when you took that shot?
No, we actually on that album, we had, it was a random, uh,
Okay.
overpass, but it wasn't a random point. We were in
Okay.
it was in the area where we did if you remember on the inside of the cover, we were in Watts
Yeah.
on that. So this was like
Oh,
that
okay.
this was down the street from Watts. So we kinda shot
Wow.
everything in the same area. And when
Okay.
we were in Watts, we shot in front of the Watts Tower, but we had 75 people with us, so you couldn't capture, the whole thing, all standing in Watts.
75.
75 heads, man.
75. Where did you get I didn't even know 75 people back then. Where
Well,
did you get
see,
75
but
people?
that was the beautiful thing about, Holy Hip Hop back then. That's how we all rolled.
Wow.
We rolled and
Okay.
supported everybody.
I'll
And
bet you did.
so,
So wasn't
so I told everybody, I just put the word out. We didn't have no internet or nothing, so it wasn't
right.
no the word just went out, and that's how tight the crews were. Everybody showed up for my photo shoot. I called it the family.
Wasn't there, and forgive me, I probably got my timeline wrong or I'm remembering this wrong, because I do remember seeing that and thinking like, there's this many people like on fire for Jesus,
Right.
geared up. And, was there something about raising a nation that'll obey or something
Raising
like
a
that?
nation that will obey, yeah.
That was the phrase.
I have T-shirts on it now.
I can't believe I got it right. I remember
Yeah,
seeing that, and again, I'm all the way in Florida. I'm a kid. I'm a literal kid,
yeah.
and there was something about
Imma
that.
send you a hoodie with it.
So I'm telling you that just the imagery, because again, it wasn't like there's no Wikipedia to look you up. There was no radio to listen to. Only information I ever had, and we all were like this, was just what you read in the credits or you
Yes, sir.
saw in the image, and then your imagination probably just filled in the rest.
Right.
And
Do I have
I
one? I was gonna see if I had one in here with me, man, so you could see
uh,
it. But
listen,
yeah, no,
listen.
I
I
got
was
the
like,
whole map on there with the whole
I
Raising the Nation, with the scripture
I'm
where it came from. Yeah,
and then I still think that out of all the covers, that to me, aside from the Illumination cover, which I'll get to that in a little bit, but
right.
the cover was so iconic because you had the SFC, which made the exclamation point, and I just everything about what you did seemed very intentional. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed from the imagery to this, even before I got into the music, everything seemed like it had a purpose. Was that?
Yes, on that out on
Am I
Phase
right?
3, yes, it did.
Okay,
Because, my
because
first 2 album, uh, they were the worst covers ever, so, uh So on the Phase 3, I was in complete control. It was
okay, so is
intentional.
that what happened?
Even though, the second album, I I was kinda in control of that, Slave Man in the Jungle with the L being crossed out, which
Yeah,
came to save. So, there was a lot of, interesting things. It was like a whole collage, but
sure.
when I turned it in, they changed it up some, so I
Yeah,
wasn't
because
happy about it.
I noticed it had a little bit of Afrocentric on it,
Oh,
but
it was
not it was
all
very small.
Afrocentric, man.
It
They
was
changed
very
they
small.
even cut some of it off.
Yeah, and so I went back. So I get Phase 3 first. That's the first thing I hear from SFC. Go back and listen up, and then go way back, and then my friend's like, "Oh, you gotta hear JC, JC and the JC Boys.
JC and the
JC and the
Boys, yeah.
Boys?
JC and the
JC and the
Boys
Boys."
was the
And
first
I'm
one.
like, was like, "Oh, man, this really goes back." I'm saying, like, it goes back to the '80s, like, it wasn't 4 years prior, it's so funny
Right.
to look back like it was an eon,
Yeah, no,
but,
and that was Dave Guzman. He's the one that brung us all together.
you had the coonskin cap,
With
is
the
that
cone
right? Were
skip
you on there
cap,
with the
yep.
coonskin cap? Okay, and I remember looking at the 3 projects and being like, "There's a clear progression to." There was again, before I get into the music of phase 3, it just like I said, it seemed very intentional, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Thank
And
God for
that
the progression 'cause, we were 4
well,
tracking it and just yeah,
okay,
it
we're
was like, yeah.
well, the production level goes through the roof from Listen Up
Oh,
to,
yeah, yeah. I
to
mean, we
phase
started
3.
getting some money and understanding what we were doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
Did you
that
guys
whole first album, I did it on one little Korg drum machine.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, again, I could see I was a big fan of just Bomb Squad production, Public
Mhm.
Enemy production, that with, Wall of Sound type production.
Right.
And the first thing I noticed when I put it in is, the first track. You know what I mean? And just almost every song on that album switches up like 3 times. Like there's 2 or 3
Yeah,
beat
yeah, yeah.
switches, so many
Oh,
different things.
yeah,
And
we
I
were
was like,
giving, the engineer a headache, man. He was like, "Man."
well, I think you could still play that album and sonically it stands the test of time. Did you record that on like a Neve board or an SSL board?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
was it done?
we were on a SSL at the green room, Gene
Okay.
Eugene, me and Gene Eugene were
Yeah.
locked in on that,
Okay. Okay.
and
You could tell that.
I did it all on the MPC 60.
And you know what? It comes through. Like that's I don't know. Again, I'm only 15, 16, so it's not like I knew all this. I
Uh-huh,
just my ears go, this is what I'm remembering, because again, I'm about a year saved. I'm brand new to the faith. I'm brand new to anything. I didn't even know what a youth group was when I was invited. I was like, what is that? Like a peer counseling? Am I gonna
yeah.
learn how to get a job or something like that? But I knew I loved hip hop. And the first track, that's Hoods of Good. Is that right? Hoods of Good?
Let's see.
Let's look. Let's consult.
That's a good.
Hoods are good. Okay, hoods are good. And that one comes in with which would later on that sample would be used on not Get Money,
Dun it, dun it, dun it, yeah.
then it starts so melting that it's like
And
and I'll be
and
honest,
that sample was the Crucified. The dun, 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 yeah. So I was all
so
over it. So, I
quiet
went
as
from, Jeff Lober, which is, he up in here is a jazz dude. That's what started it off. Did it. That's Jeff
dun-it,
Lober.
dun-it,
And then
dun-it,
we went into the
and
Crucified, and then it came back into Jeff. So we went from
bro,
jazz to punk rock to jazz.
and I'll be honest with you, I was not a fan of rap rock. Not that I would consider that song a rap rock song, but I was
Mhm.
pretty anti guitars on hip hop.
Right.
And there was something about that was again going back to my Public Enemy,
It was that
fascination.
808, man. That 808 that was in there was grabbing you.
Jetting out to the Central City
City
Mall. I
Mall.
see a backslider and I hit a gangbanger and a backslider. Oh man, I'm still getting chills on the back of my neck from that part
And
right
then
there. That
now they're
line,
both like singing in the choir.
"How fire I am, man," like I told you on the last one.
Last
You
cut.
want brothers to transform, so what up? I hear like this to straighten
Straight
that
nut
up.
up. Yeah, man.
I had it memorized because that became my tape. Like that's all I listened to. That stayed locked in there over and over and over and over.
And
And
man. Yeah,
there
the
was
hoods
so
came out pretty good, man.
I mean, so again, when you're working on that was you doing that production, or was like Gene Eugene
Yeah, I did
helping you?
all
Was
that
it a
production, man.
collective?
On that
Okay.
album,
Did
I
any of
did
the
all the production, I think, for except for one song.
okay? Did the other guy like did dudes in the crew come by? Did SFC come by? I mean, did Idle King come by? Did Freedom of Soul come by? Like, was there other people there coming making their? You guys were like the Avengers,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Like all I could do is
every
sit back. Okay,
when I was recording that album, everybody was in the
they were coming
studio.
by.
Not trying to say I'm all that, but I kind of helped everybody get their deals, and you know what I mean. So
Got it.
this was the green room was that was our hangout spot, and I was
Okay.
the one that had the studio locked up. So I
Okay.
never was one to say to close the doors. I wanted everybody to get what I'm getting, and I was passing it on. Like, I shared whatever was happening with me. I shared it with
Yeah.
people that needed it to be shared with them. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Well, I'm just a kid, so I'm just imagining in my head, but you always seemed like the middle part of the wheel, like you were the center, and then everything else was shooting off you. You were the spokes that
Amen.
connected everybody. Everybody seemed to like, nobody had any beef with Soup. Like
Yeah,
everybody was
right,
like,
right.
seemed to be cool.
Yeah, I demanded
Anyway,
that. I demanded that, man. I demanded positivity and unity. I mean, that's the the album, what we were talking about when we had all those people for the album shoot.
yeah, yeah.
We had an organization called SWAT, which stood for Spiritual Warfare Attacking Team.
Wow.
That was the reason why a lot of people were there because they were in that. And
Okay.
I started a movement where we were going and hitting all the schools called Unity. And
Okay.
Unity was all of us. We would go, I would, book a high school. It'd be me, Freedom of Soul, Idol King, Dynamic Twins, all on the same bill. And we'd just go and do free concerts at these schools.
Really? At a public school, like a public high school?
Public schools. Nothing, no churches, all public. We smash them.
So you just show up, you bring your own sound system?
Oh,
Did you
no,
use like the
it would
system?
actually we would coordinate with the schools and get in their performance theater and do an actual concert
Wow.
and pack them out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Actually,
That's crazy.
it's funny because you know who Merce is. That's how he was
Murs.
it. Merce, Secular MC, Merce, the rapper.
Oh, Murs, M-U-R-S.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
He used
Absolutely.
to attend our Unity events.
Again, you're like the middle of the wheel.
Yeah.
Everything's
So
connected.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was a beautiful
So
time, man.
when you were working on this album, were you given like free creative control? Like, hey, do whatever you want. Nobody was like trying to
Yeah.
CCM you up or
Was
like
actually
Nashville
given
you up.
That was actually a blessing and a curse
Okay.
because I was given freedom control because nobody was doing what I was doing.
Gotcha.
So therefore, I didn't have constructive criticism. Everybody just liked stuff, even and it was. I just wish I would have had constructive, like, yo, man, that verse ain't, do this. Hey, put some doubles right there. Cause when I go back and listening to this stuff, I'm like, man, dude, this could have been so much better
Well,
if I would have had somebody
I just
producing with me. Yeah, does that make sense?
sure.
But
Absolutely.
we were all learning together. I was the only one that had a drum machine, and you know what I mean. So I'm learning this stuff, but I needed that constructive
Well,
criticism. So that was the curse part. But it was a
okay.
blessing for us to be able to get in there and create, and do our thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess the first one to pioneer, there's nobody else to kind of advise you.
Yeah,
I'm only 15, so 16. I wore the tape out. Obviously, a couple standout tracks to me were "Hood's a Good," but here's the thing I'll say about everything you put your hand on, or everything you appeared on, or everything you did. I felt like I knew your life intimately. Like I felt like this guy has his own phrases, Domino's Pizza. He talks about being scoopid. He's making and cooking bacon. And I got my love beads. That's what, cartoon said on the thing. Anyway,
right,
I just felt like and again, it's the era of the skits, it's the De La Soul
correct. Yes,
era.
yes,
Like you
yes,
didn't just make songs, you made albums, you made themes, you made things that showed your humor. And I really felt like the fact that you would say things like I would go around passing out tracks, or I'm going around talking to this guy. As a 16-year-old kid, I thought I need to be doing that. Like I need to have tracks in my backpack. I need to have my Bible on me at all times. I need to be representing everywhere I go because that's what these guys are doing, right?
yes, sir.
And you were intimately pulling us into your world without any apology for it. Like there was humor, but the humor was just you smell like a gang of dudes lifting weights. Like it was y'all
Right,
snapping
right,
on each
right.
other on all these skits and things like that. And me and my friends would repeat these jokes back to each other all the time. Like we would just quote you guys' jokes back to each other. Anyway, so as you're working on phase 3, like are you pulling just samples together and you're like working on it and then Gene would engineer it? Is that kind of how things progress with that?
Yeah, actually, I did a lot of the pre-production. Well, not on the third album, I did a majority of the pre-production at DJ Dub's house. He had a whole room
Okay.
set up with
Really?
records all around the whole walls. So I would just, I wouldn't leave the room, man. I just stay in there listening to stuff, listening to, breaks. Actually, let me correct myself. DJ Dub did 2 songs on that album. Yeah,
Okay, was it
on
the
my
the
drum
DJ
machine
one?
because
The scratch
I would
one?
leave my drum machine at his house.
Okay,
He taught himself how to work it when I was gone. Started making beats, and I came
okay,
one day to go do some work on. He said, "Soup, man, let me play this for you, man. I've been, I just when you leave, I get in here and I learn how to work it. And
nice.
I did some beats, man. I want you to at least listen to it, and tell me if it's good or what." He threw it on.
Okay.
I said, "Not only is this good, man, we're gonna use that one and that and the other one you
Dub
play."
Dub got a solo. He got a
Dub got a
solo. Dub
solo
got a
and,
solo. He got a
one of my
solo.
favorite, "Music Is My Life." That's all Dub.
Okay, jazz, hip hop, soul,
So,
reggae,
reggae,
rhythm and
rhythm and
blues,
blues, and that's Kool and the
all
Gang,
kind of
man.
music that can
One of
they
them Kool
use.
of the Gangs in there, bruh.
Yep, yep. See, I can still quote it, man. If you ever need a hype man, I'm
Yeah,
down.
you bringing it back to me, man. But yeah,
Well,
that's where that album was produced.
okay,
And,
okay,
but the second album, I produced that whole album in Gene's back room. Gene had a crazy record collection.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, you said somewhere at some point, we got Gene on the engineer.
yeah. Oh, yeah, he did all my projects. Gene was a rest in peace. He was a master, man. He was doing stuff that he was on another level, man. Like he used
Yeah,
to when we would, you know how you would punch. Now we punch or we bring like I don't want that part. We'll cut a part out and move the part in.
yeah.
He was
Okay.
doing that on 2-inch tape. He would grab the tape and cut it, cut it, put
So
tape
all
it
that was
together,
tape.
and then it's complete.
So none of that was digital. That was all tape.
It was all tape.
That's probably why it also sounds so good. The
Yeah,
analog recording
analog,
is
man.
hard
So
to
it's
beat.
nice and warm.
Well, the song that stood out to me and to everyone else, all my homies, and I say that it's like two of us, but the song that stood out to us was Kill the Spirit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that song, obviously it features what is going to be become the Gospel
Gospel
Gangsters.
gangsters, yeah.
Before they were Gospel Gangsters, they were Alliance of Light. And, it was the first Christian hip hop song I'd ever heard that used the N word.
Yes,
And
yes.
even the way that you used it was the fact you're saying we're killing
That
this
spirit.
spirit,
Yeah.
right? But man, talk about a shot across the bow. You know what I mean? I'm coming out of NWA and nothing, and I did not grow up in a great neighborhood. So
Mhm.
the word for me obviously was not unfamiliar, but I'm thinking of like this songs was landing in like Christian,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Christian
Oh yeah, they
homeschool
almost
kids.
we had to fight to even get it on the album.
Really?
Yeah. Oh heck yeah, man. Because
Okay.
if you notice in the nigga is all in the scratching
It's
part.
over. You're like, oh, you've never heard it? Here's 37 times.
And then at the end, like, yeah, they almost made us cut that part in because that was
Really?
the last poets. And he goes, "I'll
Right.
stop calling myself. I'll stop
Right.
calling you a nigga when you start
Right.
acting like black men." They were
Right. Right.
upset, man.
Yeah. So
Epic,
I can only
Epic is the one who pushed it through. They're like, "Nah, man, this is."
really.
Yeah, he says, "You guys need to listen to the song and understand what he's saying."
So I can only imagine, you getting flack from every possible angle. Obviously, the church, the white evangelical small town is going to be upset with this. The black church is going to be, the older, lift every voice and sing crowd is going to be upset with this. Just people that I'm sure your record label's like, well, you just killed the album. We can't get it in any Christian
No,
bookstores.
actually, to be honest with you, brother, they no
The
fear.
label was down.
Nobody ever gave me beef about that song because it was
Really?
too it explained what we were talking.
It
We didn't
does.
just
Yeah.
we weren't throwing it out. We
Right.
killing that spirit. We
Right.
want you to stop using it. That's what we're doing.
Right.
And we
Right.
made it plain and clear on each
Right.
verse. So it was
Sure.
like if you in order for you to attack that song means that you didn't listen to it.
Right.
And
I'm just saying, like, I know, here I don't come out till, 10 years later in the Christian
right.
market, you know what I'm saying? And, I think I had like somebody give me they wouldn't review my project because I said fart on one of the songs or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like the
Oh
most
yeah.
conservative,
Yeah.
but I almost wonder if because Christian hip hop was so nobody was paying attention to it, that's why it kind of maybe flew under the radar. I don't know.
Oh, it
You
never
were
got
living
any
that world.
airtime.
Sure.
But that was a song that everybody in was talking about. They were
Okay.
shocked that
Would you guys do that live? Would you do that song live?
Uh, I did, but I was selective on where I did it.
Got it.
'Cause, and not
Yeah,
everybody's gonna understand that song, you know what I'm saying?
sure. Context
So,
is key.
yeah,
Context is key. Okay. Well, I love the project top to bottom. I mean, I wore it out. I think I must have had the original. There was no bootleg going on.
amen,
And
bro.
so this brings me to my senior year in high school, okay?
Mm,
Like I said, me and my friend, his name is Brian. Shout out to Brian. I know Brian's gonna watch this, okay? Because Brian is a big part of my
hi,
musical
Brian.
journey. Shout out to Brian. So again, we would listen to Street Party, which was now the Christian hip hop kind of like radio show on Friday
Okay.
nights. I think it was Street Party. Street Party might not have been on yet. Either way, they played Christian rap on Friday nights. Anyway, and the host who was in Nashville said there was a concert coming to Newport Richey, Florida, the Partners in Rhyme tour. Okay.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Partners in Rhyme tour was coming to Newport Richey, Florida, and me and my man Brian got wind of this. Now, from where we lived, that's about 3.5 hour drive. Now,
Okay.
this is pre MapQuest. This is pre, any type
Yeah,
of
well, you had to
anything.
break out the
All
actual map, right?
you had to get the actual map. We're both seniors in high school, so yeah, you could say we were older, but none of us have cars. You know what I mean? So like, he had to borrow his dad's car. We get in the car on that Friday. We drive the whole entire drive up there. I'd never driven anywhere by myself that far. You know what I mean? But we didn't care. We got to I'll never forget. I can remember everything about this night. I got in the parking lot. It was it was in a gym, but I ain't gotten in the gym yet. And I remember pulling up, and everybody was just decked out. Like, I mean, I looked around and saw, 50 people in the park. I'm like, man, there's other people like me. There's other kids like me. And I was really anti-secular music at the time. Like, I swung the pendulum hard, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I'm barely saved. I think I know everything. I know nothing. And somebody was playing Jump Around, like, out of their car. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
man, it's
Like,
too
what are
much
they doing? Yeah.
compromise. Too much compromise. What you do? You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I go inside. It's in a gym. There was two openers. One was a little kid group, which was kind of like, like a sanctified crisscross.
Uh-huh.
Another was these two guys, a little older college age dudes. And I was right up there at the front. So I'm like, and the stage might only been a couple feet off the ground. And I want to see everything, right? And I'll never forget, because the show starts and it was PID comes out first, and Fred had a white guy hype man that was kind of
Yeah,
bigger and
yeah, yeah.
huskier
Less.
dude,
Less.
and he came out with his backpack on backwards,
Right.
dribbling a basketball.
Right.
And you guys all had matching like stocking hats that you were selling, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just enthralled because obviously I'm a huge PID fan. And again, I don't think I even moved for the show. I think I just stared, like, just drinking it all in. I probably had like my favorite polka
That's
dot
dope,
dress
man.
shirt on. Had my favorite polka dot dress shirt on. And I remember you came up, right? And you came up like kind of right after. You came out the Hoods of Good, and I think QP was your hype man. Does that sound right?
Yeah, well, QP, yeah, he
QP
was
was
my
the hype man.
partner in the whole crew, yeah. And then we
Okay,
had,
and Dub
I think
was on
no, it
turntables.
wasn't Dove, it was, Trippin', DJ Trippin' was with us then.
Okay. Okay. So the joke that we used to go around always say was like, is the guy from the Fred's Tuba song going to come out from PID? Fred's got a tuba. Anyway, we had like 1,000 little jokes. We didn't know what to expect. You came out. I think you wore shades the entire show. You had like the
Shades.
loked out
I always
shades the
always wore my
entire
shades,
show,
man.
and your hair was kind of like, it wasn't a fade, but it wasn't a high top fade. It was just kind of like you
Like
had grown it out.
it
Yeah.
was a tour afro.
It was like a tour. I used to have a afro like Lionel Jefferson. Anyway,
Yeah, exactly. It was a
you
tour
did the whole.
afro. A
You
tour
never took.
afro is, you can't find a barber.
Can't find a barber on the road. Doing the best I can. And you rocked the whole show. Again, everything about it. I was taking notes. I was probably
That's funny that
rhyming
you said,
along.
PID came on out first because we would switch.
Okay.
Usually we would open and let PID, but we were that's how cool.
You might be right. You could be right. It could have been
No,
the other
that's
way
how
around.
cool we as groups we were back then. It was like, "Hey man, you want to open up?" People
Yeah.
get all the egos and like, "No, man, I'm opening. My sound has to be." Nah, man, we were like, "You want to open up this time? You want it?" Just love, all love.
Again. You guys were the Avengers in my head. Like in my head, you were the Hall of Justice, right? You were like the DC. Every superhero was assembled on that stage, and what you're saying came through to the crowd. Like I could tell this was not group.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
ain't
it
trying
was
to
like
turn. We here, we praising God, and we rocking the house as best as we can.
absolutely. It was a group of homies, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like and that absolutely came through. And, show ends. I don't remember a total about it, but I just remember the show end. I couldn't wait just to meet you guys personally. And
Right.
so
Please
I
tell
feel
me
like there was like a
we were
little
polite and nice, man. Please.
well, I have a I first of all, everyone was very cool. Don't give me yeah, you're fine. But I have very specific memories of the meet, okay? So like it was a little room where all the merch was. And again, I'm so starved for Christian hip hop. I want everything. And one of you guys had a magazine called Basic Instinct, which was like a Christian hip hop magazine that I'm like just scouring through for any information. I feel like you were selling like a necklace beads, maybe like a
Uh-huh.
cross necklace beads was on your
Yeah,
table.
we were slanging those. Yeah.
Okay, and then everybody, I think PID was selling like these like stocking
Yeah,
hats.
they had the
So
cap. Yeah.
okay, so everything about it was just fascinating to me. Like I was like, "Oh, this is Christian hip hop's version of being Afrocentric. This is their version of like
Right.
the medallion, right? Like this
Yeah.
is me wearing my faith, but it's not corny. It's nothing but like and even the stocking hats, I'm like, "Yo, we don't wear those in Florida. Like I need to cop one of those or something like
Right,
that."
right.
And I don't remember if I talked to Fred first or I talked to you first. I don't remember, but I do remember both conversations. Again, I'm 17, and I remember listening to the PID album, and he had a song on Chosen Ones where he's kind of like dissing somebody, and I couldn't really figure out who he was talking about. He's like, "Stop the gossip, you suckers," and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
this dude's going on wax, like
He was
battling
dissing.
somebody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I walked up to Fred and I'm like, "Hey man, I just have a question." I'm sure I just talked to him before, but I'm like, "Hey, I got a question, man. Like, are you going at DC Talk on this song, right?"
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "I mean, Toby's my boy, but I'm like, "No, I don't know." And
That's
I'll never
funny.
forget. He goes, "Two honks and a negro." Like
That's funny, man.
and I can't say, I'm sure I'll get Fred on sooner or later. I can't say
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was just like, "Yo, man,
Whoa.
like
You
dudes
was like,
actually
"Whoa,"
don't
right?
the Avengers don't get along with, this group over here or whatever." And I
Right.
thought, and he wasn't like he just had strong opinions, right? And so I
Right,
was
right.
like,
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
to him, whatever. And then we
Now,
came over to you, my
same with
boy.
me, 'cause I actually it's in my audiobook, man. I had to apologize to Toby Mac, man, 'cause,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I'm taking mad shots at him in, magazines and stuff, because, they it just wasn't rap, man, but they were rap, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what frustrated me because they were platinum, man. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? And
And
we
you're over
couldn't
here just struggling.
we're doing
I can see it.
the real, we got the DJs, we got the elements, man. We're
Yeah.
from it. So
Sure.
it was just like a slap in the face, man. So
Sure.
financially, it wasn't happening for us like it should
Sure.
have been. So that's where the frustration came from. So of course,
Sure.
you're gonna start coming out at people, but
Voicing
yeah,
your
you're voicing
frustration.
it. But when I met Toby Mac and we were doing hit, we were opening up for him at Creation Festival.
Really?
He called me into his pimped out trailer and basically told me, he says, "Look, man, I didn't ask for this title. They gave it to me."
Wow.
And
Wow.
I was just blown away that the brother was that. Why would he care? He's going platinum. What does he care about what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But the
Sure.
fact that he invited me in and wanted to voice that to me gave me a new respect for him, and I apologized for him, and I
Wow.
to him, and I never badmouthed him ever again because he's a great dude. He was a great dude, man.
I think of the verse, "A gentle answer turns away wrath." You know what I mean? That's like lived out. That's
Yeah.
really amazing. I see again, I'm just a kid. I didn't know what he was going
Oh,
on.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
remember
So I
I
was
just
saying all that to say that I'm pretty sure, because I don't know the song, but I'm pretty sure that's where the frustration came from.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I did make notice. I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm ever gonna go on wax this another Christian
Yeah,
rapper. Like that kind of for me, I thought, I don't know if this lines up with scripture. It just
yeah.
seems like I'm hearing
I'm
somebody's
glad I never
frustration in
did
real
that. I
time.
never did diss anybody on my stuff, but
Right.
magazines, I was letting them have it, man.
Well, so that moves to where I met you, and I remember, first of all, your shades were still on. I thought you were the friggin' coolest guy ever, and the first thing I remember in my head, at least, is how your presence. You're about 6'2",
Yeah,
6'3"?
about
I
yeah,
know you're up
6'2",
there.
6'2".
Okay, so I probably hadn't really hit my growth spurt, so I might have been under. I'm 6'2" now, but I mean, like at the time, you might as well have been 7 foot tall in my head,
Okay.
and you had your shades on. And it wasn't like too cool for school. It was just you were in your,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
rapper outfit.
I think
And
we were had our 6x9s with me with the legs on, and that's what it was
yeah,
all connected.
well, my man Brian bought a poster that day.
Okay.
He still, I think
Is
he
that the
still
one
has
where
this
I'm like
poster.
this?
It is. I have a picture. He has a picture in his room. You're going like this, and his head is in front of it. Like he took a picture of it, and he's like you're grabbing his head. I'll put it up. I'll put it up at some point. Anyway, we still laugh about this to this day. Is when I shook your hand, your fingernails were so long that it was like they were like
Tour
awesome,
nails.
like
Tour nails.
Wolverine hands. Like you had like
Yeah,
claws. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh,
Not
yeah,
enough
I
that it
would
drew
get
blood,
complaints
but we
about that
we
from my own crew all the time, like, "Dude, cut your nails."
I feel like it was like
That's so
we
funny
still
you
talk
said that,
about
man.
we still talk about that.
Oh,
Anyway,
no, that's hilarious, man.
you rock the show. We took our stuff. We got a 3.5 hour drive back that
And my
night.
nails would get so long, I would scratch myself like, "Oh, man." That's when I knew to cut 'em.
Wolverine. We drove home that night, and I remember because again, it's 3.5 hours drive back. I fell asleep in the car, waking up to him going, ah, like he's screaming, like he's like, I'm like, ah, and you do that moment, and I'm like, what? He goes, oh man, I fell asleep. I'm like, wait, you're driving. You can't
Man,
fall asleep.
you're right,
You
right.
can't fall asleep on the highway. Anyway, we still talk about this today.
3
It was my
hours, huh?
first
Man,
three
that's
and a
yeah.
half, three and a
3 and
half,
a half? Yeah, you
three and
must
a
have been
half
at the
hours.
towards the Atlanta side of Florida or what?
Yeah, we're Southwest Florida.
Okay,
We're on like it's 3.5 hours directly south, but yeah, we would have done it again in a
right.
heartbeat. I mean, we talked about it forever.
Man, that's beautiful,
Again,
man. Thank you, brother, for
first
supporting like
first
that.
first Chris first Christian hip hop show I ever went to.
Oh, that was your
I
first
take it
Christian hip hop
well.
show?
Full show. I
Okay.
remember I saw I saw JC Crew
Mhm.
open up for Whiteheart maybe when I was like 15, 16, but that was like they were support. They
Right.
did like maybe 10 minutes. I considered this like my first real
First hip
experience
hop.
with
Yeah,
Christian hip
yeah.
hop.
That was
Anyway,
actually the first hip hop tour, gospel hip hop tour
yes.
ever.
So, again, it just like set the tone in my mind of what, could be, what it should be, blah, blah, blah.
That's dope, man.
Jump ahead a couple years. I start messing around. Right out of high school, I started writing rhymes and stuff like that.
Right.
I'm just getting my feet, started. What year did Illumination come out? Was that
94.
95?
95, 95.
94.
94,
95.
95.
Okay.
It just,
So behind me,
February the 28th, it just turned, that was his birthday. I don't know how many
really
years that is, but
keep this flyer on my wall because it's the first show that I ever flew out to. I had a show, and the year is April 22nd, 1995. There it is, right there.
wow.
Flew
There's
out,
a
flew.
T-Bone, huh?
Yep. No, Saved to the
Oh,
Bone, and it was with the
Saved to
Gospel
the Bone and
Gangsters.
the Gospel
Saved to the
Gangsters,
Bone,
okay.
yeah, Saved to the Bone. It was that was the production company,
Oh, that's
and my
dope.
man Minister Fred, he's still around,
Yeah.
Huntsville High School, and I remember flying out to open up for the Gospel Gangsters.
Oh, you
There's
got to
me and
open
my
up for them cats. That's dope.
yeah, it was
I
life
know that
changing.
show
So
was
I'm
amazing, man.
Well, here's why I remember it so well because when we picked them up, because I hung out with the promoter all week. He was a Black Seventh Day Adventist guy, and I spent the
Seven-Day
whole week with
Adventist.
him
That's hilarious.
in Hunt. He had the Gospel according to Four Brothers. It was the Bible translated into like 70s jive talk.
That's
Anyway,
hilarious.
I hung out with him all week. We picked up the gangsters from Nashville, drove them down to Huntsville, and the thing that we played in the car when we picked them up
Was Kill the Spirit?
was nope.
Oh,
We
okay.
played your single for before your album dropped,
Uh, uh,
and
have
it was the vibe, was it?
What's Happening, The Vibe, and something else on
Yes,
there. Yeah.
Yes, and so, that's playing in the car, they're playing the single. I'm kinda looking at them, I'm like, "Hey, I wonder what they think about it." You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I'm
See if
trying to
they
be
know
cool.
what it is, huh?
I'm barely 19, you know what I mean? I'm like, "I wonder what they think." And I never forget, Chill goes, I breathe in holy hip hop every day." And he goes, "Man, I like that line."
He didn't even know
Anyway,
it was me, huh?
no, no, he knew it was you. I
Oh,
I I I mean, obviously, you're on the album, but, I mean, the point was I was just like, "Man, the Avengers kinda do all know each other." You know what I mean? Anyway,
yeah,
so, I do this show, that was, a big part of my I'm not gonna go into that, that's not really what was important, but I remember the album comes out right after the single, which is Illumination,
right,
which as much as I love Phase 3, I think I love Illumination more.
right.
Um, Only because I feel like the production level is
Yeah, it was definitely growth.
eh, so tell me about that, because obviously there's a lot that went into
Well,
Illumination. It's a
yeah, it
very
was
different. You had
growth, and
LPG was all over that album.
I was coming into my, uh, a style that I would, because hip hop was changing after Phase 3,
Yeah,
so I was coming in,
absolutely.
I was coming more into my LA roots, good
Okay,
life, the way we flow, the way we
right,
would put our words together. Yeah, it was a whole 360 on my style kind of
sure.
so yeah, of course that affected me production wise too.
Well, there's a definitive shift in who's featured on it. I mean, LPG is all over that album.
LPG,
Future
yeah,
Shock is all over that
Future
album.
Shock,
So,
yeah.
what shifted your crew from being very PID heavy or Freedom of Soul
Well,
heavy,
everybody
or
disappeared. I mean,
they did? Okay.
yeah, QP got married, had a kid,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
the finance thing just
Sure.
wasn't happening, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
we hugged and he went his way.
Okay.
Dub was already gone, so
Right.
it was basically just me.
Right.
And I was back then they were like the new we were like the new JC and the boys kind of vibe. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? So because you had Dax and
Right.
Dax had all these cats around him and it was just a fun time, you know what I mean? So, I would they would come to my gigs, I would hang out with them and Pete, of course me and Peace was like this and then Peace had just did his record and they were around a lot and Journey was living with Peace at the time. So it was just all of us was in a circle, I mean, I would be at
Sure.
Dax's house like almost every day, man, just hanging out. So, so that it was kind of like a family vibe, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's
they
you
would
could
just
see
they
that.
would just be hanging at the studio, and I'll be like,
Mm,
"Hey, man, you wanna get on?" 'Cause while they were hanging there, I'd be working, and I'm looking, and these dudes is just sitting there writing, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, they just writing, okay, so what's up? Y'all wanna jump on something, or what you got? What you hearing?" I started looking for help because as I said earlier, I wanted, criticism and guidance. So I started leaning on them for that because they were very talented dudes. You dig what I'm saying?
sure.
And I'm like,
Sure.
hey, man, we all hanging out here, keep it real. Dax had no problem to tell you if it sucked or not. So it's like, you're like, oh, no, do that
Dax,
again.
never the man to hold his lip he'll hold his bite
And
his
I
lip by
needed
any
that.
means.
I needed it.
Okay.
So it was like, yeah, tell me that, tell me that, tell me that.
I can just hear him,
So that
"Listen here,
was the
homie."
whole vibe.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought the contrast of their voices to your voice was just sonically very interesting, you know what I mean? Because Journey's voice sits in a certain
Way up
register,
there. Yeah.
Dax's voice sits, yeah, and then yours is obviously very baritone. So, like, that 3 flavors is like, it's like a Neapolitan ice cream, or like,
Right.
just it's a great flavor together. And was it Redbones who does a bunch of, like, the interludes and
He was
stuff
a
like that?
poetry dude, so yeah, I put him
Okay,
on that because that was an all
okay,
live jazz band. I have brung in a jive jazz band for every one of those,
right, right.
all that poetry. So I had Cartoon on one, Redbone did
Gotcha.
one. Yeah, I think Redbone was on like two of them, man. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So because that was
Yeah, it
that
was
that was that
spoken
whole
word, good
poetry
life.
vibe time, well, we had
Right.
Love Jones and all that stuff was coming out, so, we were I've always been into poetry, and of course, I'm a jazz head, so that
Sure.
was that that was a big influence on that album.
Well, my favorite, track on there is the one that you start off, you go, "It's the rocket launcher.
Oh,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
okay.
mhm,
Fat.
mhm, mhm. Fat, fat."
Yeah, yeah.
I don't ever since Kid and Play, I've always loved syncopated production drums. I don't know why. I love a little bit of like a, you know what I mean? It just always grabs my ear. That one to me, sonically, Chef's Kiss. It might be my favorite song you've ever done. Just everything is I mean, it just
Felt
it's
good, huh?
mixed great. It's and the fact that you at the end go, okay, and now I'm a freestyle.
Right, right.
Just you freestyle at the end. And that's by mid '90s where for me on the East Coast, like you better know how to freestyle. Like you better know how to come off the head. Like
Right.
that's a requirement of MCing,
Requirement.
right? And so I love that album. It was, again, you were like I wasn't I was just a person listening to Christian hip hop trying to get my group off. We jump ahead to around 90. I feel like it's 97 or 98. I can't remember the year. I'm almost certain it's not. It has to be 97. The Atlanta Crewvention. I talked about Tehran, about this Crewvention, how incredibly, I think to me, it's the most seminal event in Christian hip hop
I
because
agree, I agree.
you're there, Grits is there, Cross Movement's there, a lot of new groups that went on to
Everybody,
do
man.
stuff is there. John Rubin
Even
was
groups
there,
that weren't
myself.
groups yet were there.
And, it's the first time we were kind of documenting everything. Like people were shooting video. There's the infamous battles that took place,
Yeah.
which I won't go
And that
into.
was my first time teaching a seminar. I did a seminar there that day.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I remember about you, right? And again, I'm just a fan in the audience right
Lay it
now.
on me, man.
At
Lay
this
it
time,
on me.
I'm Sons of Intellect. I'm there with Golden Child, and again, you come out with a full blown lab coat
Right.
on, like you're dressed head to toe in a lab coat, no shades. I feel like you came out to the song "The MC." Is that sound right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Think that was Skill Spins. DJ Skill Spins was behind me, man. Yeah.
and
I
absolutely,
think
like,
we kinda talked about it for, like, 3 minutes, and he just said, "Alright, let's go."
well, listen. So there's people that you see are good performers. There's people that you're like, oh, they have good energy. Then there's people that are the crowd is in their hand. Like this is nothing new to them, right? There's nothing new. You are gonna sit in my hand, little bird, and you're gonna do what I say. And you absolutely were ahead in outside of maybe the Grits' theatrics, which I talked to Toronto about that. They
Yeah,
put on like a show. Your presence of a mic and a DJ and freestyling, rhyming, song to song, and this is you by yourself.
right.
You commanded the crowd. Like I was like, this is what I want to. I want to have this level of like comfort, confidence, and skill on stage,
Amen, amen.
and a little bit of theatrics too. Like I'm sure I was like, man, I got to get an outfit change. I got to come out with something. Anyway, but
Yeah.
at that time, you were kind of post record deal, right? Is that in between? You had left Brainstorm. Was that over by
Yeah,
then? By
Brainstorm was
'97?
done at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kinda trying to do my own thing. I
Okay.
think that's when I came out with, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right. That's right. You had the EP.
Yeah.
And here's one thing. Again, I'm telling you, man, I'm an observer and I pick up nuance. You kept you kept saying the whole performance. You're like, oh shoot,
Oh, shoot,
oh
yeah.
shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot. Me and this guy Mark J, who I've known I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's from Atlanta. We would say that to each other all the time. Oh
Oh,
shoot,
shoot.
like just from us watching you. Anyway, I'm just
That's
being
funny,
silly.
man, because that was a LA Symphony thing. We all would be together just,
Really?
"Shoot, oh, shoot, yeah."
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, then, the Raiders of the Lost Ark comes out, the EP, and then I noticed a definitive shift in your style from then to, and then we kind of for a very short period of time we were label mates. I ended up signing with Uprock.
Uprock,
You
yeah,
were one of the first artists on Uprock,
yeah,
and you put out, is it Dust? Is
yeah,
that the album?
yeah,
Dust. Okay. You're sitting out there on the plane in the chair.
yeah.
And it seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was a definitive shift in your style
Oh, big time.
from and it was like seemed kind of derivative of the
Right.
Good Life, of
Yeah,
Freestyle
it was deep
Fellowship,
I was deeper into the Good Life, vibe, that
hieroglyphics.
whole exactly, because that's what we were on the Fresh
Okay,
Coast. We called it Fresh Coast, but the West Coast, I mean, that's what it was. If you
okay.
were emceeing, you were battling or whatever, that's kinda the vibe you were in. You know what I mean?
Well,
And since I was on the whole underground scene, hanging out in all these spots and, vibing with MCs, that's where I was at.
what's the rhyme where you go, "I'm feeling frustrated from by free
Frequently about these flows in the
free."
industry. Yeah, yeah.
What song is that on? Is that from
Uh,
Dust?
how about respect?
That's right. Okay, okay. So I felt like
That
there was a little bit of that there, but not the total definitive shift. There's a definite shift by Dust comes out,
mhm,
where I always felt like and I knew nothing of Freestyle Fellowship. I knew nothing of AC Alone. I didn't know anything about the Good Life Cafe. It wasn't until I came to LA and did that one LA Crewvention where
mhm,
everybody out there was like, "Oh, you ain't up on, da da
right.
da da da
And you
and da da
probably
da
heard that
da."
everybody rhymes like that too.
I'm like, does anybody not rhyme like this out here? I'm
Right.
going rhyming, my mind climbing, bing up
Exactly. Yeah.
your style.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
keen.
nah, they influenced the whole West Coast, even the hieroglyphics, man, that's them. That's Freestyle Fellowship.
So can I just tell you, I was all about accents. Okay, so like the East Coast accent, the West Coast accent, the rhyme accent, and the minute that rappers started doing this over pronunciated, I'll call it a white boy accent. That's
Right.
not what it is, but it's like very enunciated. I'm like, hey, I didn't listen to hip hop so I could hear white guys talk really, really high in their vocal tone. Boom, boom, like so.
Right,
I was
right.
like, I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah,
feeling it.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
point was, I still listened to it and I still took something from it.
Right.
And was that shift of your style, was that like, were you just kind of like, man, I've been doing this for 15 years. I got to do something different now.
Well,
What, like,
yeah,
what,
I
what was,
always,
what was your time frame like that?
you hit it on a nut on the you hit it on the head. That's as a artist, we whatever we did a year ago, we already kinda moved on.
Gotcha.
We're into creativity, and I'm
Sure.
consumed with being creating, being
Sure.
original. I don't wanna if I did that over there, I'm like, "Okay, so how can I make it better than that now? Let me
Sure.
try this." And, I'm always
Sure.
been into risk. That's why nothing ever sounded the same.
It's true.
I never, tried to copy a song. It was always risk, risk, risk. And I'm still like that today. I'm putting out stuff that's totally risky, like I don't sound like nothing I used to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
you go to my
Did
my
that,
band my Bandcamp page, you can hear the song I got like words, sounds nothing like my older stuff. And you know what I mean? It's just that that's just always been what it is. I think as an
sure.
artist, that's what it should be, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Did that
So
alienate any of your fan base? Like, did
oh,
that, or
yeah,
you
yeah,
just at that
yeah,
point, you're
yeah,
just
they
like, I don't
couldn't yeah,
care?
it did, especially on, when I dropped Illumination,
Uh
they
huh.
were already starting to feel alienated.
Really?
Oh, yeah, man, a lot of the newspapers, everything called it a weird, dark album, and then, but then what the funny thing is, it's like 2 years later, it started peaking. They were like, "Hey, the album is"
Really?
like, they were catching up, and the
Huh.
same thing with Dust. They were like, "Oh, he's even more dark now. Look at this guy. What is he doing?" You know what I mean? And then all of a
Sure.
sudden, it caught up, and that's
Sure.
art. Art should never play out. It should get better every time you listen to it. It should get better and better and better, and that's
Absolutely.
what I consider timeless material, and that's what I try to create, not something that, you hear it right now, and then 5 months down, you're just tired of it, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I tried to
Sure.
create stuff that when you can pick up this Phase Three's album now and say, "You know what? I never heard that before in there." That's what I tried to do.
So a couple years after that album drops, I feel like I'm out on the West Coast. At this point, I'm like knee deep in my career. I'm traveling, I'm performing, I'm rocking it.
When you
I'm
became the
doing, this
freestyle
thing.
king.
Why you always call me that? There's way better freestylers than me, but I'll take it. Thank you. I saw you. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I can't remember what year this is. I feel like it's many years after Dust, but you were performing at a Chinese restaurant slash concert venue.
Oh, that must
Okay,
have been with the Salvation Army because they would take me to the weirdest spots, man.
I feel like it was it was a mainstream show. I don't think it was a faith
Really?
based
Okay.
show. Like it was just I just remember like I was like, oh yeah, Soup's
Oh,
playing down at
Phoenix,
the blah blah
yeah.
blah.
I could
Like
see that in
the peak
Phoenix.
the Peking duck. He's playing at the Peking duck. You want to go through?" And I must have done something during the day, or I was in town or whatever. I can't even remember who I was there with. I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I'm like, "Man, I haven't seen Soup in forever."
Right, right.
I didn't really talk. I didn't really know you at the time. Like, I was
Uh-huh.
just like, what is Soup 20 years later? Like,
Doing.
where is he at? This is literally 20 years from like JC and the Boys. It's got to be
He's
mid
performing
2000s,
in a
maybe later.
Chinese restaurant.
Again, it was never, I wasn't like, "Oh man, how the mighty have fallen." I was actually thinking like, man, this is a mainstream show. Like, he has enough pull that a mainstream regular promoter has just brought him out for a show. It just happens, it's like the hip hop, underground hip
Right,
hop.
yeah,
Like,
you know.
we're gonna rock at a Chinese restaurant. Anyway, you got up there, you did your thing. It was it was a small but really cool small crowd, and I
Mhm.
just again, you were more on your like West Coast high road
Yeah.
type vibes. And again, you killed it. I was just like, man, it's so great to see him 20 years later. He still has all the skills of what an MC should be. And then I sat down with you while you had some like, sweet and sour chicken. Like, it was like everybody just left and sat at the
I
table.
think I
And I
remember
thought,
that show, man, because I think I made a special. It was all break beats. I didn't perform on nothing that was
it sounds
like my
right. It was very
original.
hip hop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that, man.
It was very hip hop. And I just remember thinking like, man, if I ever play a Chinese restaurant, I'm gonna eat some Chinese food. I better get a plate of Chinese food
You
at the
better
end. And
get it. Better get some
I just
sweet and
remember
sour, man.
I just remember thinking like, man, it's really cool to see him in this setting. Like, it was
That's funny, man.
separate from the Christian market. It was
Let me
just
ask you, was Know the Verbs present?
I don't
Oh,
think
'cause
so. I think it
that's
was
where
one of
he's
those like
from, man. He
Phoenix.
used to come to all my events.
No, this is he would have been in
Way
Nashville by
past
then.
so he was already in
Just like,
Nashville and all
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is in the 2000s. So, long story short, I just was like, okay, man, Soup's okay. He's still around. Like, he's still
Amen.
rocking it. He didn't, like, just the label experience didn't destroy him. You know what I mean?
You
Like, he's
know that label,
doing his
man.
thing. He's doing his thing. And I don't know. I just remember thinking like that was just a cool moment for me. And then jump ahead many years later, right? Many years later, I'm at the UYWI conference. It's the Urban Youth Workers Institute conference where they had like conference stuff. It's very much for like urban church planners, very black and brown
Mhm.
type vibe. And then they would do this thing outside where they'd have like a tent, and you could perform and you'd rock the show. Worst setup ever. I'm still mad about this to this day, because basically stuff would get out and people would just walk by you and just like leave to go get food. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like a never ending cavalcade of artists. You know what I mean? And I was like, I probably did it for a friend, or I flew
Right,
out.
right,
I
right.
wasn't getting paid to do it. So I was in a bad mood to begin with, right?
Mhm.
Because of this. I felt like this was like dinner theater, or like I was like a street performer. And I asked you to come out, or somehow or another you came out, right? You were there hanging, and you weren't performing, you were just like hanging with me, right? And this is, man, this got to be mid 20s, 2015ish, I'm guessing is the year. And I said to you, I go, look at that. I'm like, that's your kids up there. Like, hey, you're the godfather, man. Like, this whole movement is because of you. That's it right there. I was like, how you feel? And it was a very like West Coast trap rap type thing. I'm like, how you, and I was like, really wanted your opinion. I was like, how you feel about that? And you're like, man, that's your kids, man. That ain't my kids. That's your kids.
Man, what city was this? Where were we
This
at?
is, it was at Azusa, I think Azusa Pacific. I think that's where
Oh, so it was on the
the
West
school.
Coast. I'm trying
Oh
to,
yeah.
I'm kinda old, man. I gotta bring things back.
Well, listen, you just came and hang out. You just kicked
Right,
it,
right.
you know? And that's when you're like, go up there, man. You need to go freestyle. You like, get up there, battle them
Freestyle
fools.
king,
You're like,
see? See?
you are just like antagonizing me, because I'm thinking like, hey, do you like this current version of hip hop? That's how I want your opinion. You're more like, man, go up there and battle these dudes. I'm too old for this. Like, you were
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
anyway, after that, we've stayed in touch here and there. I know you have family up real close to me. It was great seeing you,
Yeah,
occasionally at Flavor Fest and things like
yeah,
that.
yes.
So my last kind of question I wanted to do was, when did you know it was time to like not exit music? Because I don't think you ever exit music, but was there a period of time or a year? Because I've asked almost every artist on here, like when you felt like
That
I
was
got to
it?
think of what my next steps are. You know what I mean?
Man, Imma tell you straight up, man. I felt like that on every album.
Really?
I mean, the money was just horrible all the time.
Really?
It was
I'm
horrible,
sorry to hear
you
that.
know what I mean? So it was just like,
I'm out.
every album I felt like that. But it
All
was
the way
like,
back from Listen Up?
no, no, because Listen Up is when I got signed. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
and actually Listen Up, we broke down a lot of walls, so it was pretty amazing. I mean, they didn't even have a
Sure.
rap category when I came in. I
Right.
remember going to, uh, the GMA, and they were like and I rapped in front of all these bookstore owners. Just imagine this in '89, you know? And they're looking at this I'm the only black dude there. And they're not moving, and I'm rapping, and they're just kinda like the whole
Right,
thing.
brother.
I did 2
Love it,
songs.
brother. Wow.
I finished 1 song, nope, just all like, "So, yeah, this next song," and then I just went into it, but I'm going crazy, man. I'm, like, getting off of
Sure.
the stage and everything.
Sure.
Finished the last song, standing ovation.
Wow,
And,
come on.
it was me and, Ojo Taylor, the owner of,
Wow.
Broken Records.
Wow.
He comes back and he says, "Man, uh, they ordered, 70,000, units, already off the bat, and
Wow.
they're talking about starting a rap category in the Devil Wars now." So I was like, "Ooh."
Just like my label's name is Broken, so are the chains from the devil, my friend. I just remembered that
Man, you
rhyme.
know what I'm saying? So that was the first album. That was beautiful. We get to the second album, and, that's where I'm starting to feel it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, "Yo, man, we're the we we getting a we get a budget, that's it? I need, where the record sales, what's happening?" You know what I mean? Third album is, phase three. We got picked up. I was really happy because Epic Records picked up Brainstorm. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, Epic. They flew us out to New York. I'm like, yeah, now we can get on a real tour. You know what I mean? Like, cause I was
Sure.
even hoping to get on a tour with Public Enemy at that time.
Mm,
And Epic could do it,
mm,
only for us to fly back to Cali and them tell us, they told the label, "We don't really know how to market these guys.
mm.
They're kinda too Christian for the mainstream, but they're too mainstream for the
For
Christian.
the Christian,
So
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. It's the
you know
tension.
what we're gonna do? We're just gonna put them in all the stores and see what happens."
Wow.
Come on, dude. That's not the way it works. So we're in
Yeah,
all the
you get they
stores,
all turn
Tower Records, everything. But if you don't know who I am, I'm not getting airtime.
Sure.
It's just but we were there. We were in every
Mm,
store. And so I tried to talk to my label. I said, look, man, you guys got to pick the ball up. We're in all the stores. If people see us, trust me, man, we're gonna sell.
mm.
They didn't want to invest. They didn't want to take the risk. So
Sure. That's frustrating.
that's when the saltiness begun.
Mm.
'Cause it's like, if you don't take the risk, this is where we're gonna be. This is where we're stuck
Sure. Sure. So every year you were
every year.
kinda like
Every year.
talking yourself off the ledge.
I mean,
Wow. Okay.
we would peak out in sales and never went farther because they were happy with, "Okay, yeah, we recouped our budget, we did all this,
Right.
but no, we're
Sure.
not paying any extra to get him over there." So
Sure.
it's like, I remember I started trying to do it myself.
Mm.
But they were the ones that were making all the money, so I'm like, "Man, if I get out here spending my own money, they're the ones making the money."
Sure.
It's like, "Man, I'm losing on both sides." So, yeah, it was
Sure.
eating me up, man, but I love God, and I love the message. I love getting in front of people. I love hip hop, so it was a war. I was just like, "You know what? Just record,
Hmm.
record." The more I tried to stop, the more I had to record again.
Hmm.
And, even to this
Well,
day,
thank you.
I feel like that, man. I'm just like, I have so many songs and so much stuff in me. I'm just trying to find ways to, just express myself and touch people, and, I'm happy about I didn't understand at the time, the finance thing was just horrible. But I'll tell you what, the
Sure.
rewards that even to this day, I still get letters from people like,
Wow.
"Man, your music did this," and, "Man, I got a family now," and look. It's powerful that it overrides the financial side of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like,
Sure.
man, the seeds we planted and the things we did, I'm still here today. I'm still getting royalty checks, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's great.
I
It's
mean,
awesome.
there's all my crews, and they ain't even seen royalty checks. You know what I'm saying? I'm still getting royalty checks. So praise God, man. I mean, I might not have got it the way I wanted to get it, but I got it. We did
That's
what
great.
we were supposed to do. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I'm one of those results, you know what I mean?
Amen, brother.
I can still I can still quote those songs. I can still quote those songs. I can still remember exactly where I was. You reached a very hurting kid in Cape Coral, Florida, who needed to hear music that spoke to his existence, and you did. So the way I like to end all these, this is what I did with Ambassador, is I like to do this or that, and I'm just gonna hit you with a couple options, and you tell me. All right,
Yeah.
which one? Okay, all right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Shaft or Superfly? Which one are we going with? Shaft or
Superfly.
Superfly? Not even a question.
Not even a question.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I had
LA
to close
Raiders
my
or
eyes on
Oakland
I
Raiders?
had to close my eyes on the tub scene, man. So
Okay, LA Raiders or Oakland Raiders?
woo. LA Raiders.
LA Raiders.
Because that's when I super fell in love with them.
Okay. All right.
But Oakland was mm. That's where I'm
Some
at
bad
now. I'm
boys.
here. So
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Boys in the Hood or Do the Right Thing. Boys in the Hood or Do the Right Thing. Which one are you going with?
do the right thing.
Really? Okay.
It
I
was
didn't
more
see that one
classic
come.
for me.
Okay, I figured you'd keep it on the West Coast. All right.
Nah, it was I mean, because I hated the whole gang bang thing, so but it was
Got
dope.
it.
But I was just I mean,
Okay.
losing family members and all that, it was just like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And do the right thing. Super emotional when my man got choked out. So,
Oh, I had a long conversation with my middle son who's 15.
mhm.
Started with he's like, "Why do you like Jordan 4 so much, Dad?" Well, I was like, "Oh, you have to understand. You have to see Do the Right Thing. Like, that's what Mookie had, and then he gets ran over, and then bugging out is upset, and then Radio Raheem dies at the end.
Yeah, man.
He's like, you're really passionate about this, Dad."
Oh man, I was teary eyed in the movies, man. I couldn't believe it happened because I knew cats that got choked out like that. So it was heavy.
Sure, sure. All right, Dickies or Pendleton? Which one?
Dickies, man.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Dickies.
Okay. Nike or Converse?
Converse, homie. I was a b-boy.
All right, okay. Breaking or what is the other one? Now I'm spacing out on the other terrible breakdance movie. What was the other one? I'm spacing out. Okay, I'm just gonna pull that one back. MC Ren or Ice Cube?
Ice Cube, man. Ice Cube
Yeah,
wrote MC Rant.
I was just saying that's too easy. That's way too easy. All right. And then finally, because Romano's Pizza, is still actively serving people out there on this the streets of LA. Pepperoni or cheese? Which one you going with? Now.
Cheese.
Okay. All right. All right. Got it.
But I mean, you can't front on the pepperoni, man. But I'm older now. I gotta
Sure.
go with the cheese.
All right. And my last and final one, uh, 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 I'm spacing on it again. It's 12 o'clock out here, so I'm getting tired.
Right.
Sanford and Son or Jeffersons?
Come on. I
What
still watch
what did
them
he always say?
joints now.
"I'm coming, Edith." What did he say? He always when he grabs his chest, "I'm coming, Edith."
Oh. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. All right,
There's
actually, I
so
do
much
one more.
classic stuff in Sanford and Son. Come on, man.
I have one more. I forgot about this one. Rakim or KRS? Which one you going with?
Man, that's cold-blooded, man. Why you gotta go there? That's cold, dude. I would have to man, their styles are so different.
That's true. Very different.
I mean, I guess I would have to reluctantly go with Rakim because though, there has to be an explanation.
Okay. All right.
KRS-One is KRS-One. The
Yeah,
explanation, Rakim changed the whole game. He's the one that
he did.
created flow.
He did.
Nobody was even saying
Multi-syllable,
flow until him. You know what I'm saying?
rhyming in the bar. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I remember just listening to check out my melody, like, "Who is this dude?" And he was like, what, 17 at that time?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy to
I'm
think about
like,
that.
"It's crazy."
So, I always saw you, not that your styles were the same, but I
Mhm.
always saw you as KRS in my
A
head. You
lot
were
of
the
people
KRS of our
compared
industry.
me to him, man, and I think it was
Yeah.
because I was on that teacher tip
Yes. Yes.
because I don't know, because I mean, that's all that's he's the teacher. And I
Yeah.
always that's what I did. I liked all my songs and my writings to have a concept and a meaning. A meaning. I didn't just
Sure.
rap. I had to have some type of meaning. So I came off like I'm teaching, which would actually that's what
Absolutely.
I was doing.
Alright, finally, LPG or fruit no, I'm kidding. I'm no beef. I'm
No,
joking, I'm joking, I'm joking. Alright. Well, my man, I super appreciate you taking your time out. It means a ton to me. 17-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old Jonah is like, finally, the circle is complete. I appreciate all you do. Do you mind if I just end just by praying for you? Just
hey,
taking a
please
second
do,
to pray for
brother.
you?
I appreciate you too. Thank you for
Alright.
even bringing me on, brother. Let's
Of
do it.
course. Father, thank you so much for Chris Cooper. Lord, thank you for how you have taken him so far. You've opened up so many doors. He's planted so many seeds. He's pioneered so many movements. Lord God, I have to believe that the best is still yet to come. I think of your scripture says, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has in store for those that love Him." Lord, I pray you just continue to give him fresh lyrics, fresh concepts. Lord, I pray that he gets not just his flowers here, but in eternity. And Lord, I pray that you just continue to increase and help him to decrease in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And brother,
Salute,
on
my
you.
man.
And before we check out, if I may plug, can I plug my
Please,
audiobook?
please,
I
please,
really want
please,
people to grab my audiobook, man.
please.
It's the whole story,
Okay.
and it's not just me reading. It's actually like a play if you listen to it.
Mm.
I got
This
sound
is through my
effects.
windows, or is this
Yeah,
new?
through my windows, man, and it's
Okay.
available on everywhere now, but you can
Dope.
grab it on my just Google Through My Windows audiobook, Soup the Chemist. It's gonna come up. I think it's even on Amazon now. I know Apple picked it up, so it's all over there.
Nice. I'm on it.
Yeah, you could grab that. And then also, brother, I want to bless you, man. I want to send you a shirt and I want to hit you off with the vinyl, man.
Oh, that's going right on the
Let me turn
wall.
it right.
That's going right behind me. That's going on the wall of fame right there.
So what I'm gonna need you to do,
Absolutely.
man, is when we tap out, make sure you
Yep.
give me your mailing address, man, and I'll get that out to
Will
you,
do.
brother. And I thank you for bringing me on your show.
Absolutely. You have a blessed night, sir.
All right, my brother.
God
Peace.
bless.